If you're a brand new spouse and know nothing about the military, the first thing you got to do, and it's going to be hard, because if you haven't worn the uniform, it's really hard for somebody to appreciate what is expected of your wife, first and foremost. When they raise their right hand, swear allegiance to the Constitution of the United States, it is different than accepting a job offer from corporate America. And I've seen that over and over again where people say, well, just turn that job down, or just say no to that, or why don't you come home early today and we're going to just, go to the lake, or we're going to do this or that. And it's really hard for the spouse then to try to explain, I can't do that. So once you understand that, then the expectations over the next 10 or 20 years is you just kind of have to adopt the attitude that I'm all in. Wherever we go, whenever we go, whatever we're doing is fine. So I would say that's my first piece of advice, is understand what's expected so that you can get your mind wrapped around that and where your choices can be made after that. But then educate yourself on what is available to you. I would definitely check out the Airman and Family Readiness Group and probably take the HeartLink class. And I know that sounds, what does that mean? But honestly, HeartLink is an outstanding course that is for brand new spouses. It teaches you everything. It tells you different sources, tells you every resource on base. It explains the mission, explains the expectations of what your spouse is going to be doing. And then it also gives you as a spouse and the family what are available to you and what the different resources are. So that's for anybody, and I would start with that. There's also a lot of really good books, MilitaryOneSource.com or To Military Spouse magazine. Sue Hoppen wrote a book, The Family's Guide to the Military for Dummies. So it really does, it takes you through what the military means, how it works, how base life works, and it has tons and tons of links to different resources that whether it's internet resources or other books and things. If you're a little timid about meeting all the neighbors, which are all wives, I would highly recommend you do, because they're not scary. Once you meet them, they're going to help you a lot. The wives are an unbelievable resource for, you can ask them anything and they'll tell you the straight and true. I've never found it to be different than that. But if you're still looking for guy type of activities, I think you're probably going to need to meet your wife's unit, where most of the guys are. They're wearing the uniforms. So the easiest thing is to probably join the sports activities. The base gym, pick up basketball games, working out in the weight room, auto hobby shops if you're into fixing your car or motorcycles. There's all that kind of stuff that guys love to do. And again, you're going to meet a lot of people at that. The other thing I've done a lot of is joined intramural sports programs with my wife's unit. Since you don't have your own, they are always looking for help. And again, it's a lot of guy type of activities. And I'm kind of out of the basketball, football mode these days, but they do bowling, softball, golf, all those kinds of things. So if you're activity minded and you're into sports and all that, they would love to have you. You'll make a lot of friends. You can also volunteer. Where you're going to meet a lot of the other women are going to be at the thrift store and, the different activities that they're going to be doing at the club, with the spouses club, things like that. So it's like its own mini city. If you're new to the military and you don't understand that, a base is like its own little hometown with grocery stores, department stores, the BX, gymnasiums, ball fields, golf courses, auto hobby shops, all that kind of stuff is available to you. So I would, if you live off base, don't stay off base. Come on base and learn all those kinds of resources that are available to you. It's probably like when I went to the first spouses club meeting. I was scared to death to do it, but within inside of 5 minutes of showing up, that all goes away. You're part of the team, and I would say that's going to happen if you're going to join an intramural team. They will accept you immediately, especially because they're going to know who your wife is, so you already got that common connection there, and they're going to want to get to know you. Military people are really good about wanting to get to know each other's families. So I don't think you have anything to be scared of, but Human nature says you're going to be pretty nervous the first time, but I would say inside of 5 minutes you're going to feel right at home and like you're one of the team. Everybody needs to find their niche and what they're comfortable with and if they want to participate. A lot of the activities, honestly, with the Spouses Club are still highly weighted towards female interests. You know, almost every year of everywhere I've ever lived, the first event of the year is how to accessorize the basic black dress. And I even went the first time. My wife said, put your tuxedo on and go let them accessorize that. You know, so you got to have a sense of humor about it, and you just kind of have to jump into it both feet. But find your niche, find what you're happy with. But still, I would still say that even though it's out of your comfort zone, go out to the Spouses Club, go out and try some of the other stuff. Just give it once, even if you only go once and say no. At least I won't lose any sleep knowing that I never went. I went and I didn't like it, or wow, that was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and I could get into doing some of the volunteer work and things like that. I'm not going to say it's a mistake. I'm going to say it's a choice. And I've seen it work against a lot of families, and that's when and I didn't see this years ago as much. I see it very common now, and I know it goes on here in my wife's unit, but they choose to live apart for whatever family reasons or career reasons. And so when your spouse is not deployed, but you like living, you know, in Florida, and they're told they have to go to Minot, North Dakota for a couple of years, and you say, well, I'm not going there. Then you have to say, well, then how strong is the marriage? I mean, if it's just, I don't want to live in cold weather, and so I'm going to stay here, and I like my friends and neighbors, or I have a good career, and I understand that it's not for everybody. I mean, people do make that work. But I've seen a lot of people make that choice, and I've seen the marriages kind of, you know, start to slip because of it. Other mistakes, I don't know. I think for guys, it's probably not getting out and mixing it up a little, where they just kind of become, and I can be that way. I know that about myself, is I have to decide to go out and meet other people and do that. And once I do, I'm in my element. But initially, it's easy to just kind of close yourself in and say, I'll just take care of myself. And you know, that's not what the military is about, or the family lifestyle. It's all about meeting your neighbors and socializing, all that. So don't get too closed up. The opposite side I've also seen happen, where they overextend, they get involved in too many things, and then they're not there for their spouse. You know, they signed up for a million different activities and sports and volunteer and everything else, and then they're not there, you know, when their spouse does come home. So first and foremost, you got to understand what your spouse is doing and what the expectation by the military is on them, and then try to find your own niche to kind of accommodate that. You know, and find a mentor. I'm happy to talk to anybody at any time, and I'm sure a lot of other guys, there's a lot of men now that are married to senior women in the military that didn't exist even 10 years ago. And we're always happy to make a new friend. And so if somebody wants to contact me and ask a specific question, or how does this work or that, I'm always happy to talk to anybody at any time.